Hi, Kevin. Real quick, as you can see, I'm on the job board and check. You've already checked that you are able to log into Shopbox. So now I want you to do this. Go to the job board and then click on. Just type in B2C. And just as an example, since I want you to click on this table configuration here and copy basically what I have. You can see the checkboxes are what is checked and what isn't. So, and it may be that for you, one of these, the order of these columns is not where it needs to be. Particularly, I think either transaction or customer, it needs to be like that: customer first and then transaction. But if your customer is not there, the way this works is that these are drag and drop. So, if you want the customer to show, let's say before, I'm just gonna test. I'm gonna move customer over here. You grab here and you move that before quote, and then you click on save configuration. You see, so it moved it. But I'm gonna put it back the way I need it. We want it like this. All right. If you click in between this, you'll see that there's a resize. What you want to do is to copy that same spacing that I have and let the transaction title be a little bit bigger, but the job is usually the one that needs to be the most visible right there. So something like that. And then we only need a little bit of space right here to see the quote numbers, etc. These ones can also be rearranged. And the idea is that actually now that I have more space, we can move these guys like that. So you have the transaction. The idea is that we're going to be paying attention more here to the due dates. That's the last thing I wanted to mention. You'll see this blue bar right here is what's sorting it by this column. If I were to click on here, it'll now sort them alphabetically by number. Or here, well, you see, like if we remove this, it'll be more obvious. If I click here, it's A, B, C, it's in order, right? And then this means descending when the bar's on top. But the way I want you to set it up is ascending order, and with these columns like this. This way, we can see how many days we have left for each job. And then most important, as we work, I want this workflow triangles to be updated. Just as a little reminder, for example, B2C is what you're working on at the moment, right? These are the jobs that need to have the proofs. So right now, the first triangle is designed. Blue means that it's ready to be designed, which you're working on it. But because you didn't have access to Shopbox, these things weren't being updated. As soon as you have an update, instead of sending them to an email to the client on your Gmail, let's use the system. So you would click here, and you're already familiar with the uploading. You'd be able to upload it here, and then once you start sending the design, this will go from blue to orange, which means you're working on it, and then once it's finalized, the design, it'll turn green. So those are kind of like the colors, and then we can always reset things by putting them with that little arrow. So these are all the production steps, and this helps me see what is where. Reason why I'm doing this is because earlier we kind of missed, and I know you're doing great, but I mean, even for me, it's difficult to know what's going on. But with the job board, I can see everything at a glance, and all I'm really looking at is here. So the goal is gonna be to get that B2C job with a preview right here, and these things being accurate. So you're in charge of the design. So if I see this blue, it means that you haven't started it. If you're working on it, it should be yellow. And then once the client approves, this will automatically turn green. And that way you don't have to be sending disclaimers. The system will show the disclaimer for them. The other job that we need the approval also is the NP mechanical. If you've already sent it via mail or text, that's fine. But whenever you get a chance, let's put it here on the job board. So that will be NP mechanical, and you can identify. So for example, here it would be, here's where I want you to pay a little attention to this. So typically you want to sort, your eyes should go right here. Now this is the name of the job, and so are these are all part of the same quote. You will see here that sometimes we need to have the transaction name. Cárdenas will be a good example. So it would say Cárdenas, and then it would say the location and then what it is. Without this column, or because this would say the location, sometimes these things don't make sense. In this case, it does. But sometimes we need both of these to be able to figure it out. Let me see if I have Cárdenas here. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, you can see right here, for example, if it was like this, just the customer, Cárdenas, and the name, monument sign, we don't know which store it belongs to. But if we move this right here, we can see that, oh, it belongs to the corporate warehouse. So that's what that is. Anyways, the thing was to get NP mechanical. And you can see right here, the signs that we need previews for are the aisles, which is this one, and the VLB sign, which is this one. These are the parking signs. I'm gonna have to rename them. If something doesn't make sense on your end, also let me know and I can update it. Okay, so I've updated the names. Then just as a recap, focus here. If you focus here, it won't make sense because this thing, if you read this or click here, it may lead you to think that it's this job, but in reality, it's a different one. So if it's confusing, slide it out. And if it's not making sense, pull it out. And then you can see what we're talking about. Thank you, Kevin.